So that's it, huh? We're in some kinda cave of two lovers? Rusturf Tunnel, one of the very interesting places in Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And sure, I know what you're gonna say, oh boy, we're talking about a specific location in a Pokemon game yet again. But wait, how is he gonna figure out something to say about a literal cave with only one Pokemon in it? Trust me, in all honesty, this gotta be one of my favorite tunnels in a Pokemon game. Definitely better than, I don't know, Rock Tunnel. Being the cave that will eventually connect Rustboro City and Verdanturf Town, the name is a portmanteau of a two. And we first encounter this cave shortly after defeating Roxanne in a gym battle, where the Devon assistant that we had helped out with Team Aqua or Team Magma earlier needs our help once again, as one of the grunts has actually gotten their hands on the Devon goods. Outside the cave we meet an old man known as Mr. Briny, though we don't really get the full introduction to him just yet, but he is all crying. I think that's what those sounds are supposed to be. Anyway, he's very distraught because his darling Pokemon Pico was kidnapped. So heading inside the cave, there isn't all that much to see here. Some interesting fog effects. I really do like the inside of the cave though, it is very different compared to anything else we see. But the only Pokemon you will find here are a bunch of Whismur. A cute little Pokemon in and of itself, but very interesting to give this Pokemon an entire location. But upon actually confronting the grunt, we see that he has Pico, a Wingull, but also he's very scared, even backing away, all like, ooh, don't come near me, thinking that he has the upper hand with a hostage Pokemon. But upon entering battle, it turns out he only has a single Poochyena. Come on man, that was literally like the first thing I battled in my adventure. Anyway, a pretty easy battle aside from all the sand attacks he just kept using, but with sheer determination and strength I was able to accomplish my goals. So anyway, after the battle, the guy gets scared and runs off, and we're able to return Pico to Mr. Briny, which is a very important detail for later because that'll let us access the super speedy boat, but also we have the Devon goods that we can return to the assistant, and that unlocks a whole other thing. So initially it makes you think that your business is done here in Rusturf Tunnel, because heading any further will reach a dead end. You see, there is an interesting history to Rusturf Tunnel. Initially it was a product taken on by the Devon Corporation in order to connect Rustboro City to Verdanturf Town. A very important project because in order to traverse from one part of the Hoenn region to the other, it's not always the easiest. However, the project has been officially cancelled. That's because the machinery that they were using to carve out the tunnel was disturbing all of the Whismur inside. Very neat idea because yeah, these are a bunch of sound-based Pokemon, and so in canon they're very sensitive to loud noises, and all of that construction would definitely cause a ruckus. But cancelling the project hasn't stopped one man from trying to complete it. This black belt actually doesn't have a name, but we can find him outside roaring with excitement now that the goofy goons are gone. Oh yeah, he's talking about Team Aqua. Anyway, later on he'll be inside the cave trying to get past the last barrier to reach the other side. And it turns out he's doing this to reach his girlfriend who lives in Verdanturf. I mean, sure, they could see each other at the end of the day if they took the long way around, but I totally get him wanting to actually complete the tunnel. So determined to see the woman he loves that he's using his fist alone to break through the rocks because he doesn't want to disturb the Pokemon with a bunch of machines. What's funny is that all the guys inside the cabin are talking about the situation. They're the ones who give you the information about the history of the project and are also telling you about the guy trying to break through the rocks. They're not necessarily doubting him, but the fact that they're all workers and are just staying here rather than actually doing something, not knowing whether he's made it through yet, shows that maybe they have a little hope for him, but they don't want to contribute really. But for the moment, there's not much more that we could do. So you head off on the rest of your journey until you reach the very center of the region in Mauville City. This is also where we get to reunite with Wally. Yes, our rival, I think, our friend, our buddy, the cute little guy, the one that we helped catch his own Pokemon and was really determined to go out and become a trainer, but was being held back by family who were a little worried about his health and whether he really could become a trainer. Anyway, it's not looking too good for him because he only has one Pokemon in that battle, and it's one of the easiest battles in the game. But you know, Wally, you put in a good effort. So he goes back to Verdanturf Town to recoup with his uncle and the rest of his family who are living there, which by the way, that is where Wally is living for the moment because the area is supposed to be good for him. But wait a second, Verdanturf Town, I feel like I've heard that name before. Oh yeah, that's right, it's the town on the other side of that cave. So if you defeat a Watson in a battle and gain access to Rock Smash, that will obviously allow you to smash rocks in the overworld. So we can catch up with our two lovers in the cave and save the day by smashing the rocks ourselves. And I really do love a little interaction here, how surprised he is and how thankful they both are that they can finally be together, and that the tunnel has been built so they can both easily go back and forth between Rustboro City and Verdanturf Town. And also a fun little detail is that after you smash the rocks here, they actually stay broken, unlike the magical respawning rocks in the rest of Pokemon games. But it is honestly really cool that this was one of the moments that the rocks just stay broken, a detail that we would end up seeing with later Pokemon games like the Legend series. And then we can also stop by and visit the family, catching up with Wally, his uncle, Wanda, that is the woman on the other side, the girlfriend, and her boyfriend who still actually doesn't have a name, but apparently Wanda does appear in the Pokemon Adventures manga, and so does her boyfriend who she eventually marries, and he's called Riley, and oh, I actually haven't read the manga up until this point, but it's really cute that these characters appear here as well, because actually the entirety of the Rusturf tunnel was absent from the anime, and of course so was Wally and his entire family. I've sort of talked about it before, how Wally is one of the video game characters that wasn't adapted into the anime. Too bad though, because I would have liked to see how they handled his story and maybe expanded it a bit, given his connection to the player character from the very beginning, a little stop in the middle and the very end, as well as how the rest of his family also plays an important role in the game. His dad gives you the HM for Surf at one point as a thank you for helping Wally to grow as a trainer, and then also, you know, the whole thing with Rusturf Tunnel and Wanda and her boyfriend here. Again, an obstacle that just did not appear in the anime, and it sorta didn't really make sense to, but with how the rest of the Hoenn region itself is built, it really works out, because really there are a lot of moments throughout the Hoenn region as you're going about your journey, where you notice something interesting just off to the side, or a detail that you kinda pass through, and that you're really meant to come back to later, all of them being very nature focused. An entire ocean that you can't cross yourself until you get access to Surf, as well as another little stream that will be easy to cross. This entire tunnel that seemed like an impossible task because it would be disturbing the nature, but when you take the time to slow down and respect the Pokemon living there, chipping away at it with determination for the sake of love, that is how we can really shape the world around us, tying into the themes of the entire region how people live amongst nature, respectfully shaping it to change their needs while also making sure that the Pokemon are happy, you know, the things that Team Aqua and Team Magma didn't do. And while there is only one trainer inside Rusturf Tunnel, that being a hiker, there's an interesting portion that leads you outside. Here you'll find an NPC who is apparently looking for his glasses that he lost, even though his sprite has his glasses on his face, but it's a fun opportunity to use the item finder. In doing so, we'll reveal that the black glasses are somewhere on the ground, an item that's supposed to boost the power of dark type moves, but when we talk to the guy again, he says that those aren't his glasses and he realizes they must be somewhere else, so he heads off and leaves us all alone. This is an interesting area here, maybe the only other thing to do is build a secret base, but yeah, a really odd little place inside of another odd little place. So anyway, that was it for this location, but let me know what you think in the comments below, how it's utilized in the story along with the characters and the overall progression of the game and how it's built. Like I said, a very small portion of it and something you might not necessarily always remember, but I think the beauty is that it's a small part of the rest of the story going on in the Hoenn region. So I hope you all have a good weekend and don't have to dig through a bunch of rocks to be with the ones that you love. But speaking of love, if you love the video and want to show your support to the channel, you can leave a like, subscribe, comment, hype up the video as well. That's something really cool you can do. But for the moment, I was really excited to get to talk about Pokemon's Secret Tunnel. Two lovers forbidden from one another, a war divides their people, and a mountain divides them apart. Build a path to be together. Yeah, I forget the next couple lines, but then it goes, secret tunnel, through the mountains, secret tunnel, yeah. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, including the great Gators, Miranda Ray, That's Ven, Impbrush, Mara, Jaza, Justin Dowes, Alex with Shiny Hunts, Koi13, Cemetery Hill, Cheez-It62, GatorKid509, TF, Mathaclog947, Taijirai, Phantom, and Quago. If you'd like to support, see your name here, get access to emotes for comments, live streams, sometimes early videos, and our members' Discord server, as well as the podcast, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky as well for more memes. Anyway, this is GatorX, and I will catch you all later.
Air, water, earth, fire. You followed them through every kingdom. Now watch them complete their journey and fulfill their destiny.
Fire Lord Ozai, here we come.
It's Razor, also Avatar. Book 3 continues tomorrow at 6:30, only on Nicktoons Network.